Well, good morning. This is a special Thanksgiving edition of the Classic Guitar Rock Daily Update. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. We will not be doing updates tomorrow or the following day. So let me just take this opportunity right now to wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating it. And I'm very thankful for each of you for tuning in. Appreciate it very much. And let's all remember that on this date in 1978, radio station WKRP in Cincinnati, Ohio, held their first annual and last annual Thanksgiving turkey drop. You'll remember news director Les Nessman, winner of the coveted Buckeye News Hawk Award, was on hand to share every spine-tingling, gripping moment of that sad event. And seriously, one of the best scenes from TV sitcoms ever. So if you've never watched that today, Google the WKRP turkey drop. I love that episode. You know, anyone that worked in radio always loved WKRP, right? Because there was kind of the inside radio stuff going on. And I know that in my days in radio that everyone always talked about WKRP and how much they enjoyed that show. So go back and check that out. That would be a fun thing for you to do today if you've never seen that particular episode. Now to the news and comment. According to Sammy Hagar, there is no effing way that David Lee Roth will be joining him for the entirety of his 2024 Van Halen Focus Tour. Now, remember last week we mentioned that Sammy is launching what he's calling the Best of All Worlds Tour, and this is a Van Halen Focus Tour. Kind of his way, I think, of paying tribute to Eddie Van Halen because nothing has happened, right? David Lee Roth, Alex Van Halen, they haven't wanted to do anything, or they haven't done anything. And now it's been 3 years since Eddie died. And so Sammy is going out on the road doing mostly Van Halen stuff. He's always done 4 or 5 Van Halen tunes when he tours with the Circle, but this time he's brought Joe Satriani along specifically so they can go deeper into the Van Halen catalog. And he mentioned on the Howard Stern show last week that David Lee Roth and Alex Van Halen are invited. They're invited. Jump up. Well, David Lee Roth responded into a statement, and he said, "I'm ready to go. Let's do this." So everything's looking good, right? Well, then a fan asked Hagar yesterday on social media if David Lee Roth will be touring with him, and Sammy had to kind of clarify. He said, "No. I'm not inviting David Lee Roth to join the tour. I'm inviting him to get up and do a few songs at a few shows if he wants to." Right. So he just wanted to clarify. So on the one hand, it's kind of cool. It would be cool to be at that show where David Lee Roth does. And I don't think David Lee Roth has any interest in doing a whole tour. The two of them famously or infamously did a tour together in the 90s, back in the 90s, early 90s. I don't remember when it was. Didn't go well. The guys don't hit it off. You got 2 big egos. Let's be honest. These guys both have big egos. And they famously did not get along, and the tour was not fun for either of them. Yes, David Lee Roth might pop up and do a song or two with the band somewhere, but Sammy wanted to quash any thoughts that this would be David Lee Roth joining them on the tour, because that ain't happening. Former model Sheila Kennedy has sued Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose for sexual assault over an alleged altercation that took place in 1989. So back in 1989, and I won't go into all the details, but there's a whole, you can find this if you want to read all the sordid details. Here's a red flag, though. Here's a red flag. Kennedy, who modeled for Penthouse and was the 1983 Pet of the Year, claimed in her suit that she met Axl Rose, in a New York nightclub in or around February 1989. Rose allegedly invited Kennedy back to his hotel for a party with him and MTV Headbangers Ball host Ricky Rockman. And that guy had his 15 minutes of fame and dropped like a hot potato. Kennedy's friend was not allowed to join as Rose deemed her not hot enough. Okay, so here, let's just play this out. You're at the club with your friend. Some greasy rock star invites you back to his place, but he won't let you bring your friend because she's not hot enough. And yet you still go. What's that all about? What kind of friend is that? Anyways, I'm not going, again, this is allegedly happened in 1989. I just always wonder why it takes 30 years or 40 years. I don't understand that. Why wouldn't you bring this up right after it happened? I don't understand that. But we'll see how that plays out. Daryl Hall. Okay, these stories make me sad. We've gone through it with Journey. We've gone through it with Rat. We've gone through it with Queensryche. When you hear about bands that you like and they don't get along and there's legal wrangling, we don't like that. Here's another one of these. Daryl Hall has taken hit-making partner John Oates to court in Nashville. Longtime local journalist Nate Rao describes the situation as mysterious litigation. At least for now, all of the filings in the litigation are under seal. So, just an aside on Daryl Hall. One of the coolest shows is Live from Daryl's House. Okay, this was on for a number of years, and there are just great performances. You can go on YouTube. The Robin Zander one, the Cheap Trick one, is awesome. The Tommy Shaw, and there's a new Tommy Shaw one up as well. Daryl took a few years off and wasn't doing it, but now he's back and the show's back. And so he's got two things going on. There's Live from Daryl's House, and then there's Daryl's Place, which is an actual like dinner club where you go and can see music, and just phenomenal music. So Daryl Hall has been a great proponent of live music, and I love this, both of, the Live from Daryl's House and then the concerts that come from Daryl's Place. They used to stream those a lot on Facebook. You could watch them. I digress. So Oates has a home in Nashville while Hall lives in Millerton, New York. That's where he does Daryl's Live from Daryl's Place. Hall and Oates met in an elevator back in 1967 at the Adelphi Ballroom in Philadelphia while leading their own bands, before pairing up to release 29 top 40 hits and 8 platinum albums. I didn't realize they had so many top 40 hits. Hall was the lead singer on their biggest singles, but Oates co-wrote half of their 6 Billboard #1 songs. They have 6 #1 songs, including Out of Touch, I Can't Go For That, No Can Do, and Man Eater. But even back in the 80s, right? Way back in 1985, Rolling Stone magazine described their relationship as strange. Hall and Oates are a cross between business partners and brothers. Hall doesn't seem to really like Oates, and Oates seems removed, even distant from the entire Hall and Oates organization. When Daryl Hall was on Bill Maher's show, he said, "It's very annoying to be a duo. Everything you do is juxtaposed against another person. Try doing that sometime." I don't want to use the word emasculating because that's male, but it takes away your individuality. So there's always been this tension between the two. And remember Wham? No, Wham's not really classic rock. Daryl Hall and John Oates might not be classic rock, but I like them. I've always been fans. Remember Wham? There was George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley, and everyone was always like, well, what's that Ridgeley guy do? What's he here for? Right. And there was only like 1 or 2 albums where Andrew was even there, and then it was just George Michael. And I don't know that this is the case, but it seems to me that there's always that dynamic with Hall and Oates. It's like, what is Oates bringing to the table? Daryl sings everything. Oates is kind of back in the background strumming a guitar. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I like their music. I've always been a fan of Hall and Oates, and there's some type of legal machinations going on in the background. We don't know exactly what it's all about. The case is being weighed in Chancery Court, which focuses on equity in financial issues rather than strict questions of law. Philadelphia Magazine said the proceedings are classified as a contract debt matter. It's about money. This is all about money. Hall sued in his official capacity as trustee of the Darrell Hall Revocable Trust, naming Oates and fellow co-trustees Amy Oates and Richard Flynn from the John W. Oates TISA Trust as defendants. So I don't know. And then it's been placed under seal. This is a money thing. This has something to do with money. Who knows what it is? But always kind of sad when you see your bands that you grew up liking taking each other to court. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let me share an album with you. This is a quirky little album. And to be honest, the reason I bought this album was there was a video in the early days of MTV by this band from Australia called The Sherbs. And the song is I Have the Skill. And I always thought that's a pretty catchy tune. I like it. And so I found this album in a used record store years ago. And I really like it. I know nothing about this band. They're called The Sherbs. They're from Australia. I have another album. I think it's called Defying Gravity. I got 2 albums of theirs and I like them. The lead singer kind of to me reminds me of Phil Collins. His voice kind of sounds like Phil Collins, not hard rock, basic rock combo, bass, drums, guitar, keyboards. And I like it. So if you ever want to check out The Skill, I Have the Skill by The Sherbs. That's all I can tell you about it. It's a good album and I dig it. Not hard rock, but good kind of middle of the road rock. But I like it. Catchy songs. Musicianship is good. It's The Sherbs. The Skill is the album. Check that out if you can. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, we won't do an update tomorrow or the next day, but I want to wish you and your family a very safe and a very happy Thanksgiving holiday. Thanks so much. We'll see you. Live long and prosper. Bye-bye.